Import from Spreadsheets. In Enterprise Maps, you can build templates, and these templates can be imported into Enterprise Maps easily. So just drag and drop the stuff, or you will select files. You can import them into Enterprise Maps, start import, and all this stuff will be processed. We support both CSV as well as spreadsheet or Excel files, both versions. So you can freely build the data imports in this format. Let me show some example of Excel that can be processed by Enterprise Maps because it can be, I would say, quite user-friendly. I will open here the example for data center import, which is available out of the box in Enterprise Maps. So this is the template where you can download into Enterprise Maps information about data centers. Here I have a table of data centers. Here I have some server classes that I can define. Here I have some operating systems that I need to define. Here I have some offerings from various providers like HP Cloud. Here I have the server type, number of cores, and so on. And based on this, I can import the data, define the prices, and so on. This is an example of the Excel that can be directly processed by Enterprise Maps. So if I select and import this Excel into Enterprise Maps, it will be properly processed.
But wait, is this now concrete that a company has 1 or 2 or 100 server, or is it what type of?
This is the example of template. This can be linked with any entity. So very similar Excel I can show you for example, applications. A spreadsheet that shows the applications is here. And again, you will see it's a spreadsheet where I have a list of applications. Yeah, like application contacts and some other information that are not mandatory. So you can build these templates very easily. How we parse this, how we calculate how to parse it. As you see, there are some hidden rows. Yeah, there is a row 1, 2, 3, and 5, but there is no 1 and 4. If I unhide all these rows, now I can see some additional rows. The first one is defining what is the type of the entity that will be updated. In this case, it will be application component artifact, because this collection defines the applications. Another row which has been hidden is this one, the yellow one. Here I can define the mapping. The mapping is using the internal names of the attributes. If you remember, when I created the attribute, the internal name of the attribute has been generated as well. So here I can define that, for example, name of the application is this first column, version is the second column, description is the next column, and so on. I can also define relationships. So for example, here I have a provided by relationship, which is pointing to person artifact, which is the artifact describing specific person. It will be linked to property called name, and type will be business expert. So the business expert field, and I can enter here name. If we put here email instead of name, then you can put here emails. Okay, so this internal header is describing the mapping. We can also define the pure relationship, like here I have a subcomponents of the application. So I will define that it's composed of target is application component through property name. So this is the way how you can build very advanced templates that you can send people. And once the people will answer the questions or fill the columns, then you can import this Excel directly into Enterprise Maps without any additional effort. Just select the file and import it into Enterprise Maps. We also support synchronization. The synchronization in this case is done using the operator key. So here, for example, we synchronize everything according to the name and version. So if I get another Excel where I see some new fields, these fields will be automatically updated. So using the Excel, you can very easily build, I would say, the collection of artifacts in Enterprise Maps. You can use this also for some kind of remote survey. So for example, what we are doing with in one ES project is that we are adjusting the templates. They have very advanced survey connected with application portfolio. And actually we are doing the mapping and we prepare the Excel into the format that will be processed by Enterprise Maps. So we added there some hidden tabs where the format is generated based on the based on the answers from this survey, Excel survey, and this can be automatically processed by Enterprise Maps directly. Enterprise Maps, of course, supports also formulas. So if you define there some formula instead of value, even this column will be processed correctly. Okay, so the Excel import is improved a lot in Enterprise Maps 3.0 because you can first of all import it directly in Enterprise Maps UI using just drag and drop. So we can select the file and drop it into the UI of Enterprise Maps. And the second, we can process directly Excel files, so you don't need to convert it into CSV anymore.
Cool.
How to generate these templates? Yeah, so let's say we have some predefined templates like I have shown you, but let's say you would like to import application services. We don't have application services template in Enterprise Maps. What I typically recommend is that you will open the application service. So let me open the menu. I will open the application service. And here I should have a list of all registered application services. Now, if I select some of them or all of them, doesn't matter. Let's say I will select only 2 in order to generate it quickly. I have an option in the menu called Save as CSV. Once I click it and look into the CSV that has been generated, I have an export from Enterprise Maps that contains all the fields that we have filled in the specific asset. So here I selected 2 application services, and here I can see more or less the header, including the relationships, like here, how to link the data objects, how to link the business functions. In this case, there is another field called UID that is also extremely useful, because in case that I would like to modify data in Enterprise Maps, do some bulk operation, and I would like to do this in Excel because it's quicker, I can export all the stuff, all the collection, the whole collection into Excel. I can, for example, change the names, so just call it service 1. This is also 1. I will also link this with the ACME transaction interface and so on, so I can do a lot of stuff. And because I have UID as a key, which is the internal identification of this asset in Enterprise Maps, then the right field will be automatically updated in Enterprise Maps as well. So you can use the same export not just for the generation of the templates, but also for bulk edit of the collection. So if you, for example, want to put virtual to some subset of the servers, that virtual attribute, you can export the list of servers, put it into Excel, copy-paste their virtual attribute to the right servers that you sort according to some criteria, then export it back to Enterprise Maps, and everything will be updated automatically. So this is the Excel editing. I would like to show you the last capability, which is extremely useful if you use Excels and information and consolidation from Excels. You very often need to trace, let's say you have multiple versions of the Excel and you need to trace the updates. Enterprise Maps, if I change something independently, whether I do this in Excel or manually, like here, for example, I will define some values. I will define number of users, it will be 1000. I will define the ID of the application, which will be 1111. For example, and so on, and save it. Doesn't matter whether I do this directly in UI of Enterprise Maps. I will also link something existing. So, for example, I will link used infrastructure. Link existing. It will be infrastructure service, and I will click that this infrastructure service application server will be used. Okay. So I did this directly in Enterprise Maps UI. You can do it. It's very simple. And now I have an option called History, which is the auditing capability in Enterprise Maps. So here you can see that this artifact has been changed 4 times. And I can click to specific revision. So I can click, for example, to revision 2 and see how it looked at this time. Yeah, so how it was defined at this time. You can see who did it, when, as well as I can compare the revisions. So I can say what happens between the version, let's say just 3 and 4, yeah, because I edit and adjusted some values. So here you can see that I added between the revision 3 and 4 some new attributes. And I can also look to the relationships. So you should see that I also link it application server. Yeah, so you can trace and look to the data all the time. And if you see that, for example, the next Excel update broken something, you can very easily roll back to the previous version. You can see what has been changed and you can fix it. You have always clear overview of what is happening with your data in Enterprise Maps.